So, oh, look right here. Got that guy. So I'm watching my line here. This fish took this. We might need to take the boat out of gear to drift back on this fish. Yep. It's gotten its head down current. We got a lot of engine behind us here, so I'm just gonna see if I can determine which side of the boat the fish wants to be landed on. Now that we're out of gear, we're drifting back with the fish, so it's a little easy right now. And so this is where you want to make sure you don't get slack in the line. This fish just inhaled the plug, came up from behind, just engulfed it. A really great eat.
How we doing, Mike?
We're doing great. He's gonna come on the port side, I think. Now, there's a few fish lined up in this rip. There's some real toads, and then there was some smaller guys, and a few in between, so it's hard to gauge how big these are when you're in this much current. These fish get a lot of leverage with the current. If the head gets pointed down tide, I'll just take it. So what you do is just take the boat out of gear. Big shoulders on it. So another plus to the single hook is the lure becomes a little bit of a handle. I can grab that fish. Oh look, he's eating squid. I don't want to get hooked. Now, this is why we're using the amber color. A dead squid's white, but they're amber when they're alive. But look also where you have this flag. This presents sort of a bad opportunity, if you will, to gill hook this fish. So this plug's coming in, it's lined up, you get hooked by the eye and the gill. Just with that single flag in the back, pretty much always, not every time, but pretty much, gonna hook the fish in the upper lip, pops right out with pliers. Now we're ready for a safe release.
So the approach today is we're stemming the tide while these guys are casting into the ribs. I'm using both motors, basically crab walk myself down the rib while keeping the stern into the rib. How we're able to do that is on a boat of this size at 11 8-foot beam, you put one set of motors in gear on the starboard side and it's going to push you toward the port. And conversely on the other side if it went port towards starboard. So right now I'm just watching what these guys are throwing into the rip. Whoop, there we go. Fish on. I can see the rip and the fish coming up because we're right on that edge. And being able to crab walk the boat sideways along the rip line, we're able to keep these guys in fish the entire time.
Say it again?
Still have your lure?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, they're behind.
This
Yeah.
one flowing, this one flowing. Got it.
There he is.
Nice.
There he is.
Nice.
Dogwalker XL getting it done. Yeah, so when I'm approaching these rips over here, right when it becomes slack, I like to work that Dogwalker, especially the XL, all the way almost in line with where the rip meets the slack water. I mean, this thing will call up fish from all over. The second they show up, it's tough for these fish to resist, especially the amber.
Be making one with a third.
Not a bad fish there at all. Took the Dogwalker XL. As you can see, Captain Mike earlier swapped that last treble for that flag. And that's perfect for this recreational sport fishing. Keeps the fish safe. I mean, it's gonna be a quick release. Look how fast that was.
super greasy conditions today, which to me is the perfect situation to throw a dog walker like we've been doing today. Now, what I like about the dog walker is you can create a lot of commotion while still having plenty of hang time. So that walk the dog motion, hence the name dog walker. What you're gonna do is cast the lure out, get quick control of the line, and so while I'm working the rod, I'm popping the tip, and it's really, you'll notice it's a really slow retrieve on the handle. On the far end of the cast, I had the tip up. As the lure gets closer, the angle's gonna change. So I'm gonna start to lower the tip of the rod steadily as the lure comes in, because the angle's gonna change. And so as the lure gets closer to the rip, I'm lowering the tip of the rod. Now I might pause as I get close to the rip. If I brought it in a little too close, I want that lure to swing right into the rip. And so what I'm trying to do is simulate a fleeing squid getting chased by a striper. And so other stripers, I'm hoping, will see that, get that fear of missing out reaction, and trigger that reaction strike. So let's try that one more time. I'm gonna cast uptide in the smooth water. This fill keeps this boat stemmed against the tide. You get control of the line. The far end of the cast, I'm gonna have my tip up. So I'm walking that dog. These short twitching motions while I'm reeling slowly are causing that dog to zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Now as I get closer, again, the angle changes, so I'm lowering the tip periodically. Now as I get close to the rip, I might pause just to let that lure swing in. Now this is where my tip goes below the belt, and now I'm just pointing toward the water and twitching that bait. Now, if I'm at the rip's edge, what I might do is pause the retrieve for a minute and just twitch the rod to dance that lure right in front of the crest. So we've done a full swing. Now we're directly behind the boat. The dog walker is just walking right in front of the rip. Twitch, 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 pause. There we go. Now at this point, you can keep the lure walking in front of the rip. Now, you will get hits doing this, but I find the best hits come during the swing. But at this point, if you think there's fish in the zone, you can hang it for a little bit. But for me, once I get to this point, I'm gonna bring it back in and start again. There's just so much water here. There's just so much moving water here in Nantucket. These fish just get down current. They're decent sized slot fish, or a little over. These fish just fight above their weight class in these strong currents. They're also big fish. You can tell these fish have been eating well all season. Very full-bodied fish, pretty thick, solid fish. So, it's better just to take the boat out of gear and tiptoe back into the rip when you need to. But these are decent-sized fish. Just want to land them as quickly as possible. It's a little bigger, I think. I'm just loving this dog walker today. Perfect size to match the hatch of the squid. Look how chunky these guys are. See, look at this hook setup. If there was a hook on the back of this plug on this big fish, that could have been a terminal situation for that fish. Look back down there. So we had no problem hooking this fish. In fact, using a fair amount of finger strength to pop this hook out. I should probably be doing it with pliers. So now I'm dehooked, ready to release the fish. So the other thing I like to do, in addition to dehooking my fish with just the single hook, this fish seems a little tired. Of course, we were dealing with it for the camera. So I'm just gonna take a minute to swim it. You'll notice that this fish is clamping down on my thumb. Sort of a good sign that it's responding to the swimming. Then when it's strong enough, it sort of takes off and swims away. It's a proper way to release a big striped bass.